I'm going to monitor this battery and see how it goes thermally over the next little while. So my drone broke today. It's just the power button has completely caved in. So I want to have a look and see if I can fix it. If I can't fix it, then my son has got the same drone, different brand, takes the same batteries. I'm happily give him the batteries that I've got that are spares for mine, so he can have more for his, because he turned out to be quite the pilot on his little drone today. So, and this is a cheapy, $50 metric dollar drone, so it's not a big loss. I'm not that great a drone pilot. I only ever fly it indoors because this thing just can't really hack it in the weather. So it looks like I need to get to these screws on the underside and try and pop that. Is the bottom cover off and expose the top, or vice versa? So, oh, hello. I'll also just there's a little viewing window under here. So let's just start with 24.1 degrees so far. We'll come back to that. So it looks like this case, well, I guess if I take all these screws out, I will see what parts of the case I can separate. I'm kind of hoping if I take these screws out that all the legs don't fall off, because I'm not confident I'll be able to get them all back together. I'll also get my little 3D printed parts tray, not an RC channel. And just see what will happen. Hopefully there's a sort of pivot through these, and when I try and take everything off, it's not all just going to fall to pieces. But we'll see. This drone, should you buy one of these? Buy one of these drones if you have an Android device that you can use with it. The camera doesn't work with an iPhone. I can tell anyone that might be watching is tempted to go into the comments and say, oh, well, you shouldn't buy an Apple phone then, should you? That's what you get when you buy into a closed ecosystem like Apple. The apps is no longer supported in the App Store, so that wasn't, as far as I'm aware, that's not very rarely Apple's decision to do that. Now it looks like the top cover might come off, so we might be lucky. Hopefully these are sort of pushed up, and they will come off freely when the top cover is removed, or the bottom cover. Obviously, I'm guessing that they're screwed up into the top cover. So far, all the screws are the same size, so that's a good start. And it might turn into a sort of autopsy of what went wrong, or I might be able to fix it. But the thing is, I've only got a few more days of break left, and if I don't fix it tonight, there is a very, very high likelihood that I just wouldn't fix it. So let's, oh yeah, top cover, that's very helpful. Okay, so that is just a stressed wee piece of plastic that sits over this tactile switch. Nice. There we go. What else can we see in there? I can't really focus down too much on it. There's not much to these. There's an LED. There's obviously the motor connections for each of the rotors. The camera is on its own separate module, and that's the camera module there. There are some, well, they look like header pins that just capture. I don't know if you can see them down there. Do I have a torch? I don't think I have a torch. But you can't really see very well, but there's some header pins down in here that capture the battery. They are actually just header pins. They don't look like any kind of specialized socket just before the camera board. The camera is mounted expertly on a piece of foam. That is just a piece of high density foam. In fact, I was using the same kind of foam last night to try and make stuff, so it looks fine. Doesn't look like any other damage has happened. It's just that has, it's obviously taken a shock, and that little piece has pushed out of the way. I worry how long that will last, considering that's been stressed, but if it sits back on top, yep, that's pressing that now. If it sits back on there, that'll be right. So we went for a drive and fly day, and it was something that we did as a group. We had quite a big group today. Something we did during COVID. We didn't have any lockdowns, but the group that we were all very concerned about infection and cross-infection and stuff. So we were very mindful about who we associated with during COVID, because there were only 2 times where we had to go into a lockdown in South Australia. One was over some false information. South Australia was quite good at contact tracing and stuff like that. And yeah, so we used to go to a high school gymnasium with some radio controlled cars, and at the time I fancied getting a drone, and I thought, well, the best way to get a drone and figure out whether you still want to be involved in getting a drone was to not necessarily go to Kmart and buy a $20 drone, because I couldn't get extra batteries for it, and so you're limited to about 4 minutes of flight, and then that's it. So I bought this one from an electrical retailer called JB Hi-Fi in Australia, which I'm not sure. I shouldn't say who I think they're associated with, because I don't know. But JB Hi-Fi was selling this brand, and this was, I think at the time it was about, I don't know, I mean, they're all rebadged, like E-Sheens type drones anyway. But this was about, it was either $49 or $59. I think it was $49, and I bought some extra batteries with it. So I bought 2 extra batteries, and that would basically give me 25 minutes of flying time. So we could go to the gym, fly and drive things around, still sort of do our social distance thing, but still engage in the social activity. Everyone basically kind of stayed in their cars and got drive-through coffees and stuff like that. Because it was a high school gym, there were bathroom facilities and stuff, and we took hand sanitizer and surface spray and all kinds of stuff with us. We probably overdid it, but it was a really good thing to do, and we hadn't done one for a little while. And then with myself having just finished a radio controlled car and not really wanting to take it out bashing at a skate park, because I like it too much. I think it's too pretty. We said, oh, well, let's do a drive and fly day. And it also meant that my brother could come. And if you've seen the stream a little while back with the yellow radio control van, hashtag not a radio control channel, that we got, it meant that he got to have a drive, and that I could have a drive. We could race each other and drift our little vans around, and I could drift my kit car that I built. And yeah, we got to do this. My son got some radio controlled cars for Christmas, so he got a Hummer, because if you haven't seen on YouTube, Chris Fix is a very popular YouTube mechanic. Chris Fix has a Hummer, and my son loves the Chris Fix videos, so he had to get a radio controlled Hummer, and he's got a radio controlled Mustang, because Chris Fix also has a Mustang, and we'd set that up to do drifting, basically with 2 smooth plastic wheels on the back and grippy tires on the front, so it slides here, there, and everywhere. So that was pretty good. And let me check that's feeling like it's warmer, but is it? Is it actually warmer? Or oh, not much. 25.1. So we set it up for everyone to go flying and drifting and whatnot, and a great time was had. He also got a little radio control car. He's always loved radio control cars and stuff. So that's what we did. I think I'm trying to remember how I actually folded this down. Maybe I folded this way. No, I don't remember. What I have been doing, which is very naughty, is just sort of folding this down and then bending that underneath, because it's a $50 drone, and it shall be treated as such. So fold that. They're very flexible, these little blade guards anyway. And there weren't too many disasters. The downside of this drone is that it's got a one button takeoff and land, but it's also got a button right under the takeoff and land that just says emergency. When you press the emergency button, the drone just falls from the sky, which you'd think, well, surely you'd make the emergency just land. Like, don't just drop out of the sky. Just straight away lower yourself down. But no, and so what happened is that the emergency button got pressed by accident instead of the takeoff and land button, and hit the deck. And unfortunately hit the deck that way up because it was in the middle of doing something, sort of. Like sometimes they sort of fly a bit of an angle if you ever select helicopters, and so when it fell out of the sky, that was it. But all for now, because it's all okay. So now I'm left with, again, not an RC channel, I've got a heap of batteries that I need to charge up, and a workshop that I've got to clean up. And it did give me a bit of an idea for the next video, because today was such a rip-roaring success. It made me realize that what I am kind of missing when we do these drive and fly days is almost a little mobile workbench area. And I do have some DeWalt T-stacks. And so what I was thinking is I might do something based on those. There's probably going to be some kind of way that I can rig up a mobile workbench. Right, you might be interested in what's this. This is a 3D printed cover for a lithium cell. Basically, the car that I have built takes a cell that is this size, but I already had cells like this from my other projects. They were already a radio controlled, hashtag not a radio control channel. So this is just a 3D printed enclosure that with a bit of foam in the end to make up the extra space so the battery isn't rollicking around. That means that I can take that battery out. I can store that ready for the next time. Now, I know that I've actually got a video coming out, I think, about this. I haven't decided whether I'm going to release it or not. But basically, there's a lot of, the EVs and, the anti-EV movement, and, no one's doing each other any good, really. But now there's the sort of lithium batteries are the evil of the world. And there's a lot of information out there about battery charging. When I'm charging these lithium batteries for my radio control stuff, not a radio control channel, I charge it while I'm sitting here watching it, or while I'm certainly in the room. I don't leave lithium batteries on charge. So this is a balance charger. Basically, batteries like these, a battery usually has more than one cell. This has got 2 cells in it. So it's called a 2S LiPo lithium battery. So what I'm going to do is actually storage charge this now, because if you fully charge them, it's actually really dangerous, because then they've got all their energy at the disposal of the flames. So try and do a storage charge when you are finished with them, and that way it brings it back down to a safer, more stable level, less likely to be affected by outside influences, but also helps to keep your battery running in ideal condition. Because these batteries can end up, one of the things that's an inconvenience about these lithium pouch cells, they can puff up if they're left on and they're either overcharged or over discharged. So you don't want to do that. Right, so this is a balance charge. It's a 1.3 amp, 7.4 volt 2S. So I'm going to click yes. It's going to check that that is definitely what I want to do. All right, that's going to start. So I've got the this lead is called the balance lead. I'm giving away all the things from my video. That's called the balance lead. So any lithium cell that has more than lithium battery with more than one cell would have a balance lead. Different size balance leads for the different numbers of cells, because obviously one wire has to go to each of the individual cells. So you've got a positive and then the two negatives. One positive is common, but the negative is for each cell. What that means then is that the charger can actually measure the voltage in each cell. So this one cell is 3.97, the other cell is 3.99. Traditionally, when you charge something that was probably a multi-cell pack, if you think about your drill or your impact driver or something like that, that's an 18-volt cell or 18-volt battery with probably 6 or 5 cells in it, is that it just sort of pumps current into it, and you sort of really low-end charges, and then in your higher-end charges, it trickle charges or balance charges. So the goal of this is to get it to... I wasn't going to do a balance charge, was I? I was going to do a storage charge. Storage. So 7.4 volts is basically going to get it to, I think, about 7.6. Might be 7.62. I can't quite remember. So basically each cell being partially charged, not completely discharged, but not fully charged either. So that's what it'll do. It doesn't take very long. And yeah, it'll time how long it takes. And yeah, fully charged, these end up going up to 7.4. They go up to about 8.4, I think, from memory. But that's like how in the United States, 18-volt drill batteries can be listed as 20 volts because that's the nominally charged voltage, whereas I suppose other places might record their more sort of accurate voltage representation. But there you go. So I'm going to sit here tonight and continue to charge them, and also check on the temperature of this one just out of interest. .26 point something, 26. So it is getting warmer. It is warming up. That's all right. Other things that I tried, that case, there was a 2-piece version of that case that you sort of have to screw together. I didn't mind it, except some on these corners there, it's quite thin and quite flimsy. So I abandoned that idea. The other one is this one that prints in place, and you put it inside the battery holder on the car like that, and it basically shrinks the size of the battery holder down. You can also put one that way. You can also put it that way, depending on your needs, to sort of reduce the size of the battery bay. Again, works, but to be fair, it prints in about 6 hours with supports. It's very strong, doesn't have the issues with the sides there. Okay, it might end up cracking through here. I might even put some glue on those pieces just to sort of try and strengthen it up. But the other thing you could do is print it that way, but then I'd probably have to do more sort of sanding to get that to fit nicely, whereas currently it's a nice friction fit. It's got a side to have your cords come out if you want to charge it like that, but because it doesn't fit in a flame-proof bag when I do it, I take it out. It's also got the cords on the batteries for that kind of car usually come out the end of the battery, so it's got a little sort of routing point to root them out the end. That sounds wrong, especially in Australia. What's another good thing to keep? One of these is a really good thing to keep if you're into your radio control stuff. So I've got more drone batteries to go. There we go. There's one. So this is a teeny tiny meter and alarm, and it will tell you what your battery voltage is. So you do need to line it up so that it goes that way. So you've got the negative there. It has got a slightly bent pin, probably because my toolbox ran over it. So this would be a good test to see if this still works. Let's try it. Oh, that was loud. So it says it's a 2-cell, all 7.06 in total. So it should be 7.4. 3. So 1 is 3.66, 2 is 3.38. So not very well balanced. So a storage charge does try to balance those cells out, I'm led to believe. But a handy little thing. Throw that in your toolbox or whatever you take with you. I've got one of these that lives somewhere in here. The reason I only had that on the bench is because I was moving stuff around and I found it on the floor. I'm quite certain it is in one of the drawers in here, probably. Maybe in the batteries drawer or something. Can I find it as I put my hand, looking for it? Probably not, but let's put my money where my mouth is. Can I find it? Yep, there it is. So they come in all kinds of shapes and sizes. They're about, I don't know, $2 on eBay. So if I think just being aware of what your batteries are doing is probably the best thing. And I've usually got 2 chargers to charge and discharge things. But if I look, that's the thing I really don't like about these kind of ones when you get the Kmart toys that have got lithium cells, is that there's no balance charging for this. It's just individually, it's just pump current into both cells, and when that battery dies, it dies. That is a 2-cell battery, and what are you meant to do? So yeah, I'm not a fan. Also, whenever you charge, put it in a flame-proof bag. Basically, this is a sort of like a fire blanket that's stitched into a bag. So it does try and suffocate any flames. Right, so again, this same thing. That's 7.4 volts. Oh, so it could actually be this is actually 3.7, and these are in series, no, in parallel. So 2 600 milliamp hour. But yeah, regardless, I would like a better way to charge that than the sort of standard USB dongle style charger. I'd love to be able to get a balance lead or a proper charge lead for that. These are transmitter packs, so they were not. Oh, actually, no, they were stored because I brought the wrong batteries with me today as well. I did a lot of that. I had to, as soon as we got there, I realised I actually didn't have any batteries from my transmitter. So this is one of the old versions, but I think I'm going to print that again because that was very good. So that is the one I brought that I didn't need, and I think I charged that. And then that one is also charged, but will need to be storage charged. And then I also have this bag that I put as for charging, but I try not to stack too many in it. So what have we got in here? Another drone battery. Another little sort of, I call these like the gum stick type cells. These are for my son's little drift car. Another one of them that could be charged via, this is actually from my yellow van. I'm very dubious about these ones. 4th battery for the drone. I'm dubious about these, and that's another transmitter pack that I did use, and I used even though it wasn't properly charged. Naughty, naughty. You can use them if they're not fully charged. You can stick a partially charged lithium cell into a model, into a toy, and use it. When the battery is dead, don't keep trying to use it, and unplug it from the toy. All right. So this one is actually, is this one or this one? No, neither of them. I've got one that's one of these little things that's puffed up because at one point we had to change the little connector on it, and we unpinned the connector, and then the 2 pins shorted out. This is a different chemistry again. So this is if you have a Tesla car or we've got the battery on the house, lithium iron phosphate, I believe it's called, LIFE cell. Not as energy dense as lithium polymer, but far safer, far safer. You know, I've seen plenty of videos of people doing silly things with these and then bursting into flames, and then seeing someone over discharge this, or, you know, put a nail through it and nothing. So much safer. But the thing is, you get this will end up with 6.6 volts when, you know, for the same as 7.4, and look at the pack size difference. You know, that's there's considerably more energy in a smaller space. So that means for things like cars and stuff like that, that becomes the favorite option, especially when you're trying to get economies of scale and, you know, sort of tout yourself as value for money. You know, range is one of the biggest things about EVs in Australia. It's one of the biggest factors that's stopping us from looking into an EV right now, is it can't. There's not an EV that we can afford that would drive from where we live to the city. That's a 400-kilometre drive. And I shouldn't just say that we can afford. There's not an EV that we can afford that has local servicing that can make that drive currently. That might change. You know, if we think about the town that's closest to us, they sell the MG. It's still not really an EV that we can afford, because the price. So there's affordability, servicing, making the drive to the city, and then there is the size. All right, the size of the boot. Because when we go to the city, we're regionally based. We go to the city, we buy stuff because it's not always available to us here, or it's available at a much higher cost and a much greater inconvenience. So one of the things that does happen is we go to the city to acquire things. And even my sister-in-law has they've just bought a Tesla. What's the big one? The Model Y? The big one in Australia, I think, is the Model Y. That's the one with the big boot. And it struggled. It struggled to fit, you know, an elderly relative's walking frame in. I don't know why I need to mime walking frame, but it did. It struggled. So we've got a Toyota hatchback at the moment, and we had to bring a relative and, you know, carry around a walking frame and stuff like that, and it meant that nobody could buy anything. We went for Christmas last year, and the horror of the number of Christmas presents that we got and trying to fit them in this little car. And this is the size of vehicle we would have to get if we got an affordable EV. So it's not there for us yet. At some point it will be. It just isn't yet. So yeah, I think storage capacity, I don't think it's 50%. I think it is, you know, from when something is fully discharged to something is charged. I think, you know, people seem to have this idea that, you know, for a 7.4 volt battery to be 50% charged, that it has 3.7 volts. That's not the case. Like, if this battery is completely depleted, it's probably at 7 volts, right? Might be a 6.8, I don't know. All right, let's just give it a normal. Let's say between 6.8 and 8.4 is actually its range. So its actual 50% mark is actually halfway between those numbers. It's not halfway between 0 and its fully charged state, because then one cell would be completely dead probably. So yeah, that's the other thing. Because as soon as they're over discharged, then it's bad. So chargers like this, there's a lot of people that go around. They've got their hacks for how to get this kind of charger to charge a lithium cell that other chargers won't charge. I think the thing to remember is, if your battery charger, which is set up to be safe and usable, if your battery charger is not going to charge a battery, you need a new battery. I've been a tight ass, and I've tricked it when I've over discharged this one, and when the one sparked and stuff like that, and I've tricked it into trying to balance charge almost by setting it up as a different chemistry and stuff. But it's not safe. It's not a safe thing to do. You know, if you're going to do this, I do recommend you play it safe. And if you're not going to play it safe, it's either going to be expensive or dangerous. And you take your pick which it is. So there we go. It does. Yeah, it takes. So far, I'm on 13 minutes, but that's because I'm balance charging it. If I was just pumping current in and there's a fast charge option, I can charge them a lot quicker, and that's what I was doing today. These little gum sticks are for my son's little drift car, and he burns through these things because he just wants to go full tilt all the time with the lights on and all the bells and whistles. So they were just constantly getting swapped over on the charger. Uh, sorry, in the flameproof bag. So I was charging these in, basically in the amount of time that he would get driving, I would have this charged. So it took me a long time last night. I mean, I had all these batteries were in a storage state, and I charged them up. Which components? Like the batteries? I'll kind of go through. I'm sorry. I'm going to try and say Routen UAV. I'm not sure where you're based, but the charger is a Sky RC branded charger. It was commonly available on a website called Hobby King, along with this Hobby King's on the battery there, hobbyking.com. Oh, in China. Well, there you go. Hobby King's based in China. All the warehouses are in China. So they do this brand, they do their own brand, and they do this other brand called Turnigy. I don't know if you can read Turnigy. So most of my stuff would come out of China. Again, HJ Power Cells. That one's from eBay. Came out of China. All of these things are, various cars from various places. So my little yellow drift van was from AliExpress, direct from China. I think this one was also the drift car was from AliExpress. What's this one out of? I'm trying to think. I think this is the big 4x4, which was locally bought at a supermarket here in Australia. That we occasionally they have toys out. So that's from his Hummer, and again that was locally bought from a toy shop. But looking at the markings on the car, made in China, because you guys have got the best manufacturing out there. Oh, you make drones. There you go. Sorry. No, hey, it worked. I fixed it. Just I wish that the camera app still worked. It's still a lot of fun to fly, and for an idiot like me who's not very good at flying, this is so light that when I crash it into something, it survives very, very well. It's very resilient. So the charger from Hobby King, these little guys, I think one was from eBay. I think the other one was a Hobby King one as well. But yeah, I spent a lot of. I used to buy a lot from eBay. I don't buy so much from there now. I've mostly shifted to AliExpress and what's the other one? Banggood is the other one. So a lot of AliExpress, a lot of Banggood. As far as the leads go, I end up making my own now. I'm not very good with the crimping of the wires, so I have to buy a lot of pigtails and do the soldering. But yeah, that's something I really need to learn is the crimping. I keep buying the crimping tools. Look, where are my crimpers? I go to my toolbox and get my crimpers to prove I've been trying. Look, I have that one, and I have that one. I have that one, and I have bought packets of crimping crimp connectors to practice on, and I'm just terrible. No, I don't want my planes to explode either. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work. What drones do you manufacture? I'm a complete beginner with RC stuff. I've only made my own custom radio-controlled movie props. Oh, big ones. How big? curious. I can oh, love that you make big drones. No, I think I think it's cool. Wow. So are they for haulage or transport or picking up small children? That'd be fun. I'm a school teacher the rest of the time, so I love the idea of student monitoring by drones. They can just come down and pick up the naughty children and fly them over to detention or something. Fly them to the principal's office. That'd be good. And between 50 and 100 kilos, that's pretty much the right sort of weight range for most of the troublemakers. No, nearly there. It's nearly at 7.6, so it's actually discharging. See, now you probably know that I really probably don't have much of a clue about what I'm talking about with batteries, but I just try and be safe. So, yeah. So I've got a lot of work ahead of me. I do have another charger that I will go and set up out in the other workshop, and that will half my time. And then these... Oh, let me check the temperature. Hold on. What's the drone battery doing? Holding steadily at 26. Nice. Because these ones... There we go. Done. Okay. Lovely. So that one is finished, and that's probably one of the bigger ones as well. That's the other thing. Whoa, this cable really doesn't want to separate. Oh, just destroyed everything on the bench. This is one of the bigger ones, so that's fine. So my system is now that I'm going to put them back in. Thank you very much. I hope you have a great day. We might be in a similar time zone. I'm not sure. So now these are going in my 2S charged and ready for storage, and then unfortunately it means the next time someone says let's have a drive and fly day, I have to go and get out all the batteries the night before and charge them all. So this will be the other one, which I think was charged, and this will be discharging it to a storage rate. So a lot of people would be saying you're being an idiot for doing this, but there you go. As long as you can call me an idiot, as long as my house isn't on fire. All right, so storage 1.3. Yes. Oh yeah, that one's fully charged. 8.37. That was ready to rock and roll today. So that's one that didn't get used. So this is going to be a pure discharging, and it should try and equally discharge the cells. All right. I might actually set the printer going for another battery holder because that worked out quite well. This is, what is it? It's T-Core Coffee PLA. You know what I wonder? Would that be good to print in TPG, in flexible filament? That might be really good. Because then you wouldn't have to worry about it taking the knocks. It would be far more resilient. But then again, I suppose I could print it in ASA, which would be stronger again. But TPU would be good because then you wouldn't be concerned about anything happening to the battery. Not the thing that PLA like this is going to splinter enough to be able to pierce the, even a really sharp bit like that probably isn't going to pierce the battery. So, yeah. All right, so the drones there. Let me get some more drone batteries on charge because I had my little rotating stand out because I finished a build and I was doing my studious YouTube photography for the video that I will then hopefully go and edit tonight. But I have to get the footage of the build from this computer to the one in the house, which is where's the rest of them? I knocked them over there when I couldn't unplug an X260. So, I mean, this is not a great idea. Let's just shove electrons into them. Why not? Let's have 4 going at the same time. But I'm going to be here. And I do have a fire extinguisher right here on the wall. So if something does happen, I'll be ready. I'm not going to try and have them rotate. Really, I'd like a... I'm not going to check the temperatures now. One at a time. 25. 25. 24. Ooh, cool bananas. 26. Oh, nearly 27 on that one. So there you go. These are coming down nicely. How big is the bag? It's almost one measurement banana big. 1 metric banana. Lovely. I think. Oh, yeah, I forgot these. So these are 2. I forgot about these because I actually charged these for a model that I didn't take with me today. These would be transmitter packs because the new transmitter I've just got is runs on anything between 5 and 8 volts. So these are 6.6. That is a 700 milliamp hour and a 1.45 milliamp hour, but both lithium iron phosphate, again, LiFe cells. So yeah, you can tell that this one is half the capacity of the one underneath. But for me, it's just trying to find batteries with the right connectors on them. So when Hobby King was sending stuff to Australia before the postage cost millions of Australian dollars, I spent up because I was trying to set myself up for things. So and then when Hobby King shut down its operation, I started buying stuff online from eBay and like local Facebook Marketplace, local classified ads, Gumtree, and so I bought 3 or 4 of these transmitters because they're hackable to open protocol, so you can change them to be free sky, or you can hack them with ER9X, and there's a little USB board that's been piggybacked onto the back of the display. Hashtag not an RC channel. I'm really not. I'm meant to be a woodworking channel. I'm meant to make things out of wood. Oh, I'm a maker. I've made a 3D printed dog. It's my 3D printed dog. It's meant to be a lamp as well, so a little lamp goes in there and it's USB powered. And I was trying to sell those at Christmas time, but you know what? Nobody wanted them. And now I've got lots of them sitting around in the lab. But that's okay. All right, I can start to tidy up. I'll flip up there. Yay, there you go. There's more stuff that I'm making in the background. I don't know if Doctor Who is out in China. I suppose it would be somewhere. So there's a Dalek. There's a Dalek over there. And there's some other woodworking things. Would you like a cup tray? Coffee cup tray? No? That's it. Oh, look, this is probably my greatest invention. My greatest and most famous invention is the thwacker, the pointless hammer, featured on a few YouTube videos from Fix It Fingers. So this is thwacker number 1. This is the prototype thwacker, and it is the last one that I actually have. That's to tell a lie. I did make a 500 subscriber thwacker. Thinking about this one. This one was specially printed to be the 500 subscriber thwacker. laser cut, as all the official thwackers were. Mine wasn't. Mine was spray painted. And this is in PETG, I think, 3D printed. And speaking of 3D printed, print from SD. Lipo case. Printing. And I printed a few. I printed some in, this is in my DeWalt yellow, because I'm on Team Yellow. And I've done some in Makita blue, unfortunately. I've done a baby thwacker. I've done a little thwacker. So this was given away to my anyone that commented on a short to be in the draw to win this when I got to 500 subscribers. And Jason, I'm still here. Still going to drop it off to you. So don't mind me while I tidy up. I have got a lot of junk that just needs to be put in its little junk spot. Because I'm finding building things is very difficult when you just can't get to anything. So I really need to tidy up. That's all there is to it. Oh, that's a spare gear. I'm going to have to find somewhere for that to go. Oh, spare arclet. Definitely need to find where that's going. I've got this lead here that is for it's actually for this battery, and I'm scared to use it because what I've had to do, it looks fine. It looks wrong because when I plug it in to this battery that way, when I plug it in like that, what do you notice? What do you see, kids? Reverse polarity. But there we go. I'll show you. I will show you why that is a thing. Let me get my multitude of multimeters, and I will show you why that is a concerning thing. And despite knowing and be able to prove this, I still can't bring myself to use it. So here we go. One thing, there's a good little test. So it's got a balance lead on it. So what I should be able to do is put the negative on here. Two cells, all 6.81, one cell 3.6. So this cut out. The van wasn't driving today after this, so this thing cut out, at 6.81 volts. That was its cutoff thing. Now, it could be that the balance plug is right. So, and I'm not an electronics channel. Electronics channel for me would be like, I pretend I know what I'm talking about, but I've got no qualifications in electronics. You know, the worst thing was today, it was because the high school gymnasium happens to be at the high school that I now work at. I was there today and someone asked me to do some work and I wanted to go, what? Not happening. So I'm going to set my multimeter. Oh, look, I'll set it down that way. Would it help if it's got the light on? Will that make it? That's a bit easier to see. I'm going to have to put it upside down, aren't I? Right, there we go. It's upside down. It's on DC volts. So now if I put this on here and I put it in the correct polarity here, can I get to it? My probes might be too large. I haven't much luck here. Yeah, that should be right. DC volts. Let me just can I can't get to the balance things on these, can I? Oh, maybe I can get to these. I can hold it down. It's not even telling me that there's anything there. But yeah, when I've put this in previously to try and get a measurement, I keep trying. So this, yep, says minus 6.81 volts. So now if I put this on, what should happen when I stuff the probes down here, minus 6.81. 6.81. So I need to make one of those that goes the other way around. And oh, that's why, because that is actually the right way around. That's the way around it's supposed to be. That's the issue. That this is reversed on that plug. And when you look at the other Dean's connectors, alright. Well, you know, I'm going to fire up the soldering iron. Why not? Let's just do it. Live and die by it, hey man. Come on. Let me get the plug. I saw one down here. Saw one hiding. Come here, you. So, oh, that's the issue. So, alright, that's the issue. These little doodads that I bought online are reversed. And I've often wondered if there's a way I could sort of de-pin them somehow by shoving something in there and pulling them out and maybe getting it out, but I've not sort of had any luck. I'm not very good with steady hands. So the plan is, wherever I've just put it, that one. But if I put this on here, and then I reverse the probes for how they are shown here, that should demonstrate, that should show the correct voltage. Oh, that's not reversed yet, dingus. There you go. They show the correct voltage. And when I put the probes on here, I get the correct voltage. When that socket plugs in, yep, 6.81. When I plug the socket in, it's reversed. So now if I plug that in there, this Dean's connector is the reverse of what it should be. So that will mean that the positive is going down that lead, which ends up being positive there. Negative goes down that lead, which should be the negative there. I cannot bring myself to try it. I really want to, but I cannot bring myself to try it just yet. Yeah. Yeah. Right. So I'm going to let this one go and then put the others in a bag and come back in the morning. Oh, thank you, Rutan UAV. I appreciate your subscribership. You are one of the, I think you might be our 620th. So you are one of the 620 coolest people on the YouTube, as far as I'm concerned. You are one of the 620 greatest people on the YouTube. So well done to you. Thank you, my friend. I keep trying to get close to 1,000. I have to keep reminding myself that this time last year I had 200 subscribers. My wife has got a language learning channel, and she's got 1,700 in a year. You know, it's killing me. But good for her. Her success is our success. All right, I'm going to continue to tidy up around the place, keeping an eye on this. I'm going to put the other batteries away while they await their chargification. And I think I'm going to take this one out because this is one of those ones that corner broke off, and I'm going to print another one. So I may quickly just do that. I need an Allen bit. Allen? Allen? I'm just rifling through my toolbox. Not tooling through my rifle box to find the Allen bits. Now, this is not the best screwdriver, but compared to when I built the second radio controlled car, compared to the first, so much easier. It really was. It was so much easier with a ratcheting screwdriver. Oh, good barrel. Just because you're trying to thread screws into plastic, and this just made it so much easier, particularly when trying to cut those threads for the first time, to being able to sort of maintain pressure while ratcheting back instead of trying to re-grip and then the screwdriver slips on the top of the head of the screw, because things going in straight is quite critical, I've found, when doing these radio control cars. That one will be very flat because, number one, it's a small cell, and number two, I did all my testing, so this one's a little bit puffy. So this one might have been a little bit overly discharged. Right, bin. Might keep the foam because that could come in handy when the next thing's up. This packing foam is just, if you're a maker, always have some of this around, you know, sticking things in it so you can paint them or whatever. It's just so very handy. Right, I'm going to continue the tidying up. There may be some commentary. You may hear me grunting and groaning while I try and reach for things. Definitely a reason to get into RC though is because of all the. Oh, there's the other one. There's my Hobby King one. You know, that should actually go in the travel bag because it's got a little cap for the end. I think that one was actually for the convention kit, but I'll put it in here. And then I've got one in my drawers over yonder, which is fine. Right. So I've got some battery leads that I'm not currently using. I will need that one. No, actually I will need that one as well. Actually, I won't need that bit. So I'll take that. I'll put that back in the charger leads box. I can go and put the drone back in the case. Battery temperature checks. There we go. 26. 26. 26. 23. Woo. Cool. Cool as a cucumber. I put music on, but I keep getting copyright struck from the YouTube over doing that. And I don't like singing. I had to, yeah, my latest 3D printing challenge was making some light buckets for the radio controlled car that I was building, and so I've got a few iterations of them. That was the first one, and then I realized I had the profile and the light holes on the wrong side, so that curve then translated into that curve there, which that was actually the first generation one. And I thought I was pretty close with it, and then I spray painted and it didn't look very good. And I realized that it was too long, so I cut it down to make it shorter. So that's that generation. And then from there, I don't think I've got one of the other ones because I just used them in the car. What I did is actually cut down the height. So it was a finished height of about 8 millimeters, tapering off to about 5 millimeters at the end. And that seemed to be a good fit. And then use some double stick tape to get them to attach to the inside of the headlights of the car. And it worked. It did work. But I don't keep prototypes. A friend's asked for all my cast-off 3D prints for his sci-fi prop-making endeavors, and I've said absolutely, you can absolutely have them. So I'm just saving them. Keep the for charging bag because it's going to be very full shortly. Right. So that and that can go in the house because the RC kit bag is in there. I don't need that in there. I need a sort of little hidey hole for the foam. I should put it in my Cillian tea box. Yeah. Symbol of quality. Quality. That's funny because it's tea. Oh, I've got it upside down. Hold on. Symbol of quality, Ceylon tea. Ceylon tea. Sounds very Italian to me. Do I need the manual for the Eternity 9X thing? Probably not, because number one, it was freely downloadable from the internet. Number two, I think I actually found a genuine manual tonight. So, recycle it. I have got some crap in it. Recycle it. This is my feelings journal. thing jumped a long way. Right. Should probably give my brother one of those copies of the. Funny how keeping little cut-off sections was helpful in learning that double-sided tape and hot glue would both stick to the plastic and not remove the paint. So that was good to know. This was indeed reassuring. Does anyone else get spray can lids covered in paint because you've been spraying and you need to raise something up off, or have it supported only very minimally, so you end up using the lid to paint? I do. I went out and bought this as it's not a very thorough engineering tool, but I went out and bought this because I was doing the body stripes on the Mark II Escort. That's my latest build video. And I wanted to be able to measure between the stripes but follow the contours of the car. So this was from Officeworks, and I think it was about $2. Again, because I was in the city. Oh, look, it's mesmerizing, isn't it? Deeply satisfying. I'm very easily amused. So I bought that because I thought that will help me. And I haven't used it yet. I did that job without it, and now I haven't used it since. I'm sure it'll to get used. The floor's a mess again. The floor in here is always a mess. Always. So I'm going to leave that connected. Maybe what I'll do is I'll do this outside tomorrow on the concrete in case it goes wrong. I'm less concerned about something happening to the battery. I'm more concerned about something happening to my charger. Because I did it with another charger before and but I think it was that the cells were backwards. And then my cords were backwards too. And I did that thing you should never do, and I assumed that they were correct. And then I found out you shouldn't assume that. Right, so I'm going to leave that on the bench. No, I'm going to go put them in the plastic box, because then if they catch fire, I actually put them in the, I've got some DeWalt toolboxes, and I stacked them in there because they're IP65 rated, which means that, they protect against water ingress, which also means if there is a huge, horrible amount of smoke coming out, it's actually going to help to contain that. And it should also, the plastic should melt and help to smolder and put out any fire, hopefully. I've already been told, oh, that's stupid, lithium's evil and it won't work. But, well, at least I'm trying. I'm trying to be safe. I mean, trying to be safe and just have fun. If you're looking for a stand for your radio-controlled car, it's called a yoga block. And these are in my van. I used to use these for propping up the Dalek. And the other good thing is about these, if you're painting your radio-controlled car or little parts, get barbecue skewers and just poke them in. And then suddenly it's a stand for your painting and they won't fall over. And you can have them elevated. And the yoga block doesn't care if it gets paint on it. It's very good like that. There's a little flying thing. Get out of here. But, oh, I got it. I don't know if I can identify what it is now. I never get them. I really don't. I've got half zip ties everywhere. I only vacuumed this morning. Oh, there's sort of. Does anyone else's bench get like bench grit? It's usually at dust and solder, and bench grit is dust. 1 part dust, 1 part solder, and 3 parts frustration. That's what it is. Nearly there. Still coming down, isn't it? You're right. It takes a hell of a time to go. No, to an hour 10. So streams usually only go for an hour. I'm going to call it. Let's do one last. Oh no, I can't. Can I? Hang on. One last temperature check. What do we got? Ooh, 27 and a half. 27. 26. Whoa, that one's very cool. I wonder if these two are getting close to done. These are probably 2 of the ones that get used the most, I think. All right. Well, until next time, keep your bananas where you can see them, and may your charging practices be safe and reliable. Good night.